Ladies and gentlemen, with this particular story, I want to forewarn you guys that I'm going to say some things that are not going to sit well with your sensibilities, because I know that a lot of times people think that I'm just being mean just to be mean, and that's not the case at all. All I'm saying is that I believe that there should be a higher level of awareness for children. We should stand up for children. They can't speak for themselves nor defend themselves until they're able to grow up and be able to get out of the house, and then to be able to go out and work and fend for themselves, right? And I just don't think that society is at a good place when it comes to sharing the level of importance for children. What I want to do is I want to point out an individual who has done something, and I'm going to tell you guys, this fool has done something, and he looks just as crazy in the face. This fool looks like he got two different color eyeballs. One eye's going down here, the other one's going over here. Not sure where he's looking at or what he's paying attention to, right? This story comes out of Milwaukee. Criminal charges have been filed in connection to a brutal death of a 12-year-old Milwaukee boy who you guys see on the right-hand side of my screen. I'm going to have some more pictures roll across here in a moment. Investigators say that 53-year-old Andres Martina, that's a very weird last name. Martina is his last name. Andres Martina is 53 years old. This guy, he looks like he's about to rob a church. He just looks like a weird character, just in my opinion. Very weird looking dude, like he doesn't look stable in the face. But nonetheless, he's 53 years old, and he admitted that he lost control on Sunday, August the 29th, which was what, 3 days ago? And beat his grandchild by the name of Andre Smith Jr. This beautiful baby boy beat him to death. And I know a lot of you guys are wondering, how did this happen? Why did this happen? But I'm going to tell you, the details in this story are really going to make you guys really mad and really upset. So you have been forewarned, okay? That's your disclaimer if you need to leave the video, because we're going to give you guys some details about how this baby boy was murdered, and it's going to break your heart, because it definitely did mine. On top of the horrific details surrounding this crime, during an interview with detectives, I almost said interactives. During an interview with detectives, Andres Martinez, or Martina, I cannot read his name, Grandpa Crazy Eyes, allegedly admitted to another murder that happened in 1989. Grandpa said that he wanted to talk with police and he has nothing to hide. The homicide of 12-year-old Andre Smith occurred on Sunday, August the 29th, near 46th and Hampton. According to a criminal complaint, Andre and his 8-year-old brother, so 2 children were there, and I blocked their faces out because those children are still alive, so I didn't want to put their identities out there. But Andre has already passed away. He is no longer at risk, which is why we don't mind sharing his image. Both of them were together staying at Grandpa's house, who is their grandfather. I already said that. Martina, the grandfather, allegedly asked the boys, he allegedly asked the boys to sleep over so they could get school supplies the next morning. So that sounds like something that is a good thing, yes. Help them get school supplies. Elisha McCroy, I don't know. I can't say her name properly. Illysha McCrory is Andre Smith's grandmother and has full custody of him since 2017. So his wife and Grandpa Crazy Eyes have legal custody of this boy. That's very weird. That doesn't make any sense. And maybe, you know what? Maybe this is a grandmother and a grandfather on two different sides. So Alicia McCroy, and then you have Martina. So maybe that's two different a paternal and maternal or whatever. Anyway, let's not get too confused about that part. But she says that she has full custody of him since 2017. She said Martina had just moved back to Milwaukee this summer and would see the kids a couple times a week. He just got to town in May, McCroy said. I was giving him that chance. But the boy's mother says his long history of violence and his criminal record were well known. So grandma was taking up on herself knowing that this man has a violent history, and I know that I haven't given you guys the details of that just yet, but grandma is admitting that this man has a long criminal history. That guy, Grandpa Crazy Eyes. He'd even served time for murder. Grandma admitted that Grandpa Crazy Eyes at one point served time for murder. Hello. Just can't make this stuff up, man. He now faces life in prison. Andre's mother, by the name of Nikita Martina, which is spelled Nakeda. Why would anybody in their right mind take children to a known murderer? So the biological mother said, why would anyone take this boy to hang out with a known murderer? Do you guys see the irony like I see it? Immediately I'm like, whoa, hold on just a freaking minute. You mean to tell me that the grandmother has custody of the biological mother's child, and the grandmother, who was the legal custodial parent, allowed a murderer to watch and keep the boys? Then you'd also have to look. You can't write a movie with this type of script. So you'd also have to ask yourself, why does grandma have custody, and why did the biological mother lose custody? Can somebody type that in the chat? Because we ask pertinent questions here. Questions that are pertinent to this situation, and ask, how did we get here? How did we get here? Because of a failure of the biological mother and biological father. That chick, her name is Nikita Martina. That's Andre's mother. The one with the tattoos all across her arm. Her. That's where the problem starts. And you would ask, why do I say that that's where the problems start? Because if grandma makes bad decisions like this, then she would have never been allowed to make those decisions if she didn't have custody of that boy to begin with. Right? You guys understand where I'm coming from? If she never lost custody, grandma would have never gotten a chance to do what she did, which is neglected itself. But bookmark that. We'll come back to it. Andre's mother, Nikita Martina, said, why would anybody in their right mind take this boy to a known murderer? According to a criminal complaint, Andres Martinez, which is the grandfather, oh goodness. Oh my goodness. According to a criminal complaint, Grandpa Crazy Eyes has not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 felonies. 5 felonies on his record. Guys, I have no idea how we get these type of stories emailed to us because it just seems like they just can't be real stories. Like, are these people really that level of dumb? They're that damn dysfunctional that grandpa's dysfunctional, grandma's dysfunctional. Yeah, grandma, you dysfunctional too. We're going to get on to your old dusty drawers here in a moment. The biological mother is dysfunctional and the biological father is dysfunctional. The whole freaking family is dysfunctional. Everybody is dysfunctional. These children don't stand a chance if your family structure is this level of messed up. Can we get a hashtag when you date thugs, you date death? Now, I'm not sure if grandma and grandpa are the ones who were in a relationship, if they're separated, if they're on different sides of the family tree. I don't know. They have not specified that yet. Yes, I said a dusty drawers. Yes. We got to laugh sometimes, guys, because these stories are so sad. It's just like you would just break down and be depressed all the damn time if you can't take a moment and laugh about something. They said this fool right here has 5 felonies on his record and admitted to telling his grandchildren in the past, if you lie, if you mess up in school, if you steal, I'm going to kill you. Ladies and gentlemen, we could literally end the story right there. End the story. That's all we need to know. I'm going to read that again. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. That's an AFC hashtag. Everybody already knows that. He admitted that he told his grandchildren in the past, and they still let this son of a bitch be around the children. He said, if you lie, if you mess up in school, if you steal, I'm going to kill you. That's what Grandpa Crazy Eyes told his grandchildren, and grandma still allowed him to be around these kids. And the children knew this, and I'm sure that the children already told grandma, and grandma said, I'm going to give him a chance anyway. Because why give somebody who lives a straight, narrow life a chance? Why give a pastor a chance? Why give a deacon a chance? Why give a God-fearing man a chance? Why give a scientist a chance? Why give a teacher a chance? Why give a mentor a chance? Why give a counselor a chance? When you can go get a nigga that ain't shit, fresh out of jail, you could give him a chance. A nigga that has 5 felonies on his record. You can get mad that I described it that way, but it's the damn truth. These women, these custodial parents are the ones who are responsible for taking these children and delivering them to the lion who was locked up at the Thug Zoo. Placing these children in the Thug Lion cage, and then they want to cry, woe is me, when the Thug Lion attacks the children who are in the cage with the Thug Lion. But as soon as that son of a gun grandmother puts up a GoFundMe, or the biological mother puts up a GoFundMe, everybody's going to donate to her because they're going to say that this man was an evil man. This man should be in hell for what he did. This man should be in front of a firing squad for what he did. But you're going to turn around and reward them, the family, with money who are the ones who are responsible for putting the children in danger. Do you guys now understand why I have such a problem with GoFundMe? In general, I don't have a problem when they put up a GoFundMe. If y'all dumb enough to donate to it, then fine. Have no problem with that. But what you're doing is you're incentivizing people to continue to do what they're doing, continuing to put their children in dangerous situations, continuing to reward people so that they can get benefits off of the dead children. That's what we call babies for benefits. Penis over your priorities. I could not have said that any better. Thank you for posting that. Y'all want to know what he stole? Who in the chat wants to know what he stole? How many of y'all want to know what he stole? We haven't even got to the worst part yet. McCroy said, which is grandma, he asked me for the chance to get to know his grandkids. She said, Grandpa, or Martina, referring to Grandpa, did have some issues like everybody else's issues, but she still allowed Andre and his brother to spend the night Saturday. Lord bless the damned black community. We are going to hell in a handbasket, which is why I think people might need to separate from the black community. We need to create something else. We need to be a part of something else. If anybody else has a community that y'all want to open up and allow me to leave the black community and come be a part of y'all community, please let me know what community wants to accept me. Create one, make up one. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Because at this point, you just can't be this level of stupid. You can't be this level of dumb. She said this man has issues like everybody does. Really though? Really? Really, Grandma? Really, Grandma Dusty Draws? So what Grandma is saying is that it's normal to have a family member who has not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 goddamn felonies on their record. That's normal. Everybody has a family member that has 5 felonies on their record and did time for murder. Hello. Let's just take a poll in the chat right now. For those of y'all who are listening right now, if that sounds like that's, oh yeah, I got somebody like that in my family who has 5 felonies and has also done time for murder. Does that sound like your family member? Does it sound like you? Did you do time for murdering someone? Do you have 5 felonies on your record? Then you can make sure and let us know in the chat if that sounds like your family. How many of y'all have somebody like that in your family with 5 felonies and been charged for murder previously, not even related to this story? Since she said, like everybody, and I'm getting this from a website called CBS58.com. That's where my source is. She said he has issues like everybody does. And according to the criminal complaint, Grandpa told investigators that he woke up around 3 a.m. to use the bathroom and noticed his wallet was open and money was missing. He got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, noticed that his wallet was open, and noticed that there was money missing out of his wallet. Grandpa said that he went to the living room and he confronted Andre and accused him of taking his money. Andre allegedly turned his pockets inside out to show Grandpa Crazy Eyes that he did not take his money. Grandpa told officials that's when he smacked Andre repeatedly, demanding Andre get his money. The criminal complaint says in response, Andre went to a cousin's bedroom to retrieve the money. When he returned, Grandpa allegedly started striking Andre again. The complaint says that Martina, Grandpa recalled, I'm not killing him. I'm just bopping his expletive. I don't know what he was talking about there. I'm just bopping his expletive. Investigators say that Grandpa attempted to use belts to hit Andre. Andre was able to, at one point, run outside, and that's when investigators say Grandpa dragged the boy into the house and continued to beat him with his mother's wooden cane. His mother's wooden cane. So that would, I would assume, mean that he is 53 years old and he lives with his mother. If he grabbed his mother's cane, unless his mother's dead and he just have his mother's cane for some strange reason. According to the criminal complaint, Grandpa stated Andre knew he was going to kill him, but caught what he said to detectives and changed it to Andre knew he was going to beat him. Grandpa Martina claimed he didn't know what else to do in order to get his money back. Andre, according to a criminal complaint, was able to run to the bathroom and lock himself inside. Second time this boy done got away. First time he ran out of the house, Grandpa caught him, dragged him back inside the house. Second time he made it to the bathroom. Martina, Grandpa, told investigators he picked the lock open and lost it on Andre. He lost it on that baby boy. He recalled shoving Andre with enough force that his head left a large hole in the wall. This is making me sick to my stomach. Let me forewarn you guys, the details are about to get a little bit worse. And I want y'all to remember, for those who feel like they can't handle me talking about this, I want y'all to remember that all we are doing is listening to this baby boy's story. We don't actually have to live through what Grandpa Crazy Eyes actually did to this boy. But I think that his story is important, and I think that his story deserves to be heard. I think we owe it to him to at least hear this baby boy's story. But it is about to get worse. Grandpa Martina's mother, who lives in the home at 46 in Hampton, I knew it. Lord have mercy. So this fool lives with his mama at 53 years old. Oh my goodness. And Grandma's still talking about, give him a chance, give him a chance, give him a chance. Why? He's 53 years old and he still ain't shit. If you are past 50 years old and you still ain't shit, I don't think anybody should give you a chance. You're too screwed up in the head. Is that mean of me to say? Yeah, it probably is. It probably is. Because I'm pretty sure that I'm probably stepping on some of y'all toes right now. Maybe y'all got some family members that are over 50 years old, that are still allegedly trying to get their life together. Y'all know somebody like that in your family? "53 years old and still live at home with his mama." Lord Jesus. 53. Yep, I had to go back and look at it again. He's 53 years old. Bless this fool. But stupid is as stupid thugs. Martina's mother told investigators she was awakened by her son yelling at Andre. She told investigators she looked up and saw her son, Martina, striking Andre with a hammer all over his body. That is a hateful son of a bitch. This big ass fool, this grown man, couldn't reason with the child, couldn't talk to a child. He went and grabbed a freaking hammer, an effing hammer. I'm trying to mind my language. Can somebody please type that in the chat? He grabbed a hammer. Like MC Hammer, a real hammer. She woke up to see her son striking this little bitty baby boy with a hammer all over his body, including his head and back. Hitting the head with a hammer. Lord Jesus. She believed the brutal attack lasted an hour to an hour and a half. She said this went on for an hour to an hour and a half, beating a 12-year-old boy with a hammer in the head. Let me tell you guys something. I've watched a story. I don't remember which story it was, but there was a man who got charged with murder because he walked up to a guy outside of a bar, and apparently they had been arguing. The dude didn't see it coming, and the guy sucker punched the man in the head. Sucker punched him in the face. The dude hit the ground and died from one punch of a grown man. From one punch. That is a grown man. Now I want y'all to think about how small, how frail, and how developing, in the process of developing, a 12-year-old boy's body is. What living creature on God's green earth would be able to survive hammer strikes to the head for an hour and a half? I can't even think of, if you hit a brick, if you hit a car for an hour and a half with a hammer, that car would be effed up. If you hit a brick wall with a hammer, it would be effed up after an hour and a half. If you hit the concrete floor with a hammer for an hour and a half, it would be effed up. If you hit anything with a hammer for an hour and a half, it would be effed up. Do y'all know how long an hour and a half is? We're not talking about 30 seconds of being hit in the head. We're not talking about 30 minutes of being hit in the head. Not even an hour. It happened for so long that this man's own senile grandmother, the great grandmother, I guess, because she's the mother of him and he's the grandfather. So the great grandmother is so senile that she didn't even know if it was an hour or an hour and a half. She believed the brutal attack lasted for an hour to an hour and a half. Investigators made note in the criminal complaint that Martina's mother is disabled, making it difficult for her to intervene. She's the great grandmother. No, I would not expect her to be able to come in and stop her very grown son. This fool is way past grown. 53 years old. So I would assume his mom would have to be at least what? 67, 68? All jokes aside, maybe 70. If she's that old, maybe you can make an excuse for it, I guess. Does she know how to pick up a phone and call 911? Was she not able to walk? She was able to give an interview. Could she not call 911 in an hour and a half? Was it going to beat her with a hammer? I don't know. But I think, here's what I think. Here's what I honestly believe, y'all. I think his mom at this point, even though she might not have been able to physically stop him, could have took one of her hands, if one or both of her hands are still working, picked up the telephone, because if this man was so focused on his money and all he could think of was taking his rage out on that little boy, he probably wasn't thinking nothing about his own mother. She had plenty of time in an hour and a half to call police, to call 911. And to be honest, if he would have then dropped what he was doing and went to attack her, if it would have saved this boy's life, then I feel like, yes, I'm asking for the great grandmother to make a sacrifice. The 12-year-old boy hadn't got a chance to live any life yet. But if you're 70 to 75 years old, you've lived a lot of life. At what point do we start putting our life on the line for our kids, for our grandchildren, for our great-grandchildren? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? I know some of y'all going to come out, make an excuse, and say, Jay, you shouldn't ask for grandmother to put herself at risk. Why should I not? Why should I not? If you have the ability, if you have the will, why should you not put your life on the line? I'm not asking you to put your life on the line at the peak of your career, at the peak of your own family. You're on the downhill slide. And that's just the reality. Unless she was so disabled to the point that she couldn't call 911, then I'm sorry, I still say this entire family is dysfunctional. Investigators say Grandpa Martina flashed forward in time to when he stopped beating Andre. He told officials he recalls seeing a lot of blood and put Andre's body into the bathtub in an attempt to wash the blood off him. According to the criminal complaint, Martina did not recall using the hammer to strike the boy. He did, however, admit to losing control. Andre's 8-year-old brother was also injured during the incident. The criminal complaint says that he suffered a broken finger, bruising to his body, and a laceration to the top of his head, probably because this fool hit him in the damn head with the hammer too. Investigators noted in the complaint that Martina recalled telling his grandchildren in the past, if you lie, if you mess up in school, if you steal, I'm going to kill you. He told officials he believed the entire incident lasted from 3 a.m. until well after 8 a.m. I'm going to read this last sentence again. He told police, these are not my words, that he believes the entire incident lasted from 3 a.m. until 8 a.m. 5 hours. not an hour and a half. Where is grandma getting an hour to an hour and a half from? The great grandmother, I should say. 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. I believe his word more than I believe that man's mother. 5 hours. 5 felonies, thank you. Anyway, Martina has been charged with the following: first-degree intentional homicide, physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death. Neglecting a child, consequence is death. Physical abuse of a child, repeated acts with high probability of great bodily harm, and possession of a firearm by a felon. Inside the home, law enforcement located methamphetamine pills, marijuana, and a firearm. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that is a lot to absorb, but I'm telling you guys, the part that's even more sad is this is starting to become like common. And I tell you guys, the reason why I bring these stories is because every single day, somebody has an opportunity to save these children by just not delivering the children to the devil, by putting their children in the thug lion cage, by not dating a thug, by not bringing your children around felons. Every day. This only happened 3 days ago. My channel has been here for almost 3 to 4 years of me preaching the same message. Some of my videos do get a lot of views. That means there is no excuse, and I've done stories in every state, in many different cities. People have heard my words, or people around those communities have heard my words, and everybody has had an opportunity to not allow this to continue to go on. Simple things. To the grandmother, you don't give this fool a chance. He didn't earn a chance. He didn't deserve a chance to get to know his grandkids, and you got him killed. Grandma. Well, we're going to talk about the mother too. We haven't even got to her yet. How about this? They had the nerve to put up a GoFundMe. Ladies and gentlemen, are y'all ready to tear this story apart? Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let me let you listen to the news videos. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not making these stories up. Y'all can go to the websites on your own and see that these stories are real and they're happening every single day.
I go in the bathroom and my baby was laid out, and I tried to pick him up, but he just dropped.
Nia Moore rushed to her nephew's side after getting a call for help Sunday morning. She found the 12-year-old boy, Andre Smith II, unconscious in a home near 46th and Hampton. He'd been beaten in the head with a large hammer.
We was trying to save him. We couldn't save him.
Family members say Andre's 8-year-old brother in the blue shirt here witnessed the attack and was also hurt.
Okay, so they put the little boy on camera anyway. Wow. I'm sitting here trying to withhold his identity, and they brought him on camera anyway, the one that survived. Like, okay, I guess they wanted his identity to be out there, I guess.
46th and Hampton. He'd been beaten in the head with a large hammer.
We was trying to save him. We couldn't save him.
Family members say Andre's 8-year-old brother in the blue shirt here witnessed.
And they zoomed in on his face. Do y'all see this? No, I want y'all to remember, don't get it confused. There are 2 children. There were 2 boys there. There were 2 boys there. 2 boys. This is the younger boy. The 12-year-old is deceased. The 12-year-old is dead.
The attack and was also hurt. Moore and her boyfriend carried Andre.
Why is that woman in the white on camera with that highly visible bonnet on her head? Why not just get out the frame? Look, guys, did y'all notice they panned back so far because they wanted to make sure that y'all saw this woman who ain't got a bra on and a big old bonnet on her head. They zoomed so far back that you could actually see the news anchor. Come on, y'all. Come on. Come on, people. We got to realize when they're making fun of us and we're doing it to ourselves because we keep jumping in front of the camera. We just want to be her support. I want to support her. Where you?
To their car
Take that shit off your head.
and rushed him to the hospital.
He died on me when I was in the car, and then he died again at Children's Hospital.
Hakima Martina is Andre's older stepbrother. He says at some point Sunday, the adult family member suspected in the hammer attack called other family to say what had happened. He'd accused Andre of stealing cash.
We went over there and it was just bad. You know, he had blood all on his shorts. We step inside the house, we see my brother just unresponsive, it was just filthy, and I just lost it.
Hakima says he can't believe his little brother is gone.
He was 12 years old, he didn't deserve that.
Family members say Andre was supposed to be back at Douglas Middle School Monday with all the other kids.
There's no way you can treat a child like that. There's no way.
That was Terry Sater reporting. You're looking at a live picture from 71st and Hope. That's where Andre lived. His family is gathering for a vigil there tonight. Police say they know who they're looking for in this case, but they aren't naming him, and so not.
It's going to be a hard and long journey for these grandkids and myself.
Continuing on without her grandchild, we're learning new information about her grandson's brutal murder as family gathers to remember his life.
Was that the grandmother? Oh, goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys do not have thick skin, you might want to leave my video because I'm about to say some stuff about grandma that y'all probably not going to like. Y'all probably not going to like it, black folk. I'm just warning you.
We'll start there at 9. It's a story that has left many of us speechless. The heinous killing of a little boy in Milwaukee who loved ones say was beaten with a hammer.
Casey Cronus is live from MPD headquarters tonight, and Casey, family members are leaning on one another for comfort.
They are, and loved ones of that little boy say they are just as shocked as we all are by this inexplicable tragedy. Tonight, they gathered to honor and celebrate Andre Smith, sharing with us his love for Legos and telling us that he would light up a room.
Andre.
As loved ones mourn the devastation.
Here they go with these damn balloons. Air litter, polluting your environment, killing animals. Ruining power lines, creating trash in people's yards when y'all could have just lit some candles. Y'all could have did some tea light candles. It would have been beautiful. Make some t-shirts. But now we want to go get a bunch of balloons and just throw them away. And we're going to say, yeah, they're going to go into outer space. No, they're going to go into somebody's yard, somebody's roof, somebody's pool, somebody's pond, somebody's lake. Killing animals. I can't wait till more states hop on board and start banning this.
Dating loss of 12-year-old Andre Smith II.
It's just hard. It's hard. I don't have any words.
There are no words to explain the pain his family is enduring.
I don't understand why somebody would do that to a child.
Sunday morning near 46th and Glendale, Milwaukee police say Smith suffered blunt force injuries. Family members say he was beaten with a hammer and died at the hospital. His 8-year-old brother, Ashton, was also hurt and treated for his injuries.
He was my greatest brother.
During a vigil Monday near 71st and Hope, Smith's grandmother, Alicia McCroy, who cares for Smith and his siblings, tells us her heart is shattered.
I want to hear from the grandma. Here we go.
I really appreciate the community helping and reaching out. And it's going to be a hard and long journey for these grandkids and myself.
And why is it going to be a long, hard journey? This is the individual who was responsible for this happening because she took the children and gave the children to this man who had 5 felonies, and one of his felonies involved a murder that he committed. He's on record as a murderer, and you gave the kid. Think about how stupid that sounds. She gave these children to a murderer. Is that not what happened? You want to get mad because I said it that way? Because I'm implying that this is her fault? But is that not the truth? She gave 2 young boys, one being 12 years old. I think what y'all say, the other one was like 7 or 8 years old. Gave 2 boys to a murderer. When you hear that sentence, when you hear somebody say, "Oh yeah, I gave my children to a murderer. I let the murderer babysit my children. Yeah, I let my children go down the street and go play with a murderer. Oh yeah, I heard that the people down the street are cooking and the murderer invited the children to come over and come eat with us." When you hear it like that, you're just like, what? But in her feeble little mind, I don't know what that girl got. I don't know if that girl got cotton in her brain, cotton picking brain. She got slavery. What they call that? What they call that syndrome? Postpartum slavery syndrome or something? It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for us to make it through this. It's gonna be hard, y'all. It's gonna be hard. Damn. You gave the children to a murderer. Good job, Grandma.
Journey for these grandkids and myself.
Those closest to Smith.
His smile was just so bright. He was a goofy kid. He liked to have fun.
Tell us he was happy, smart, and caring.
He was the nicest little boy.
A joyous child who will forever be missed.
He was a light that shined in a dim room.
The medical examiner's autopsy report says the boy's skull was severely fractured, consistent with multiple blunt force blows to the head.
Keep him away from my kids.
Oh, snaps. I forgot about the biological mother. If you guys are watching, do me a favor real quick and click that thumbs up. We got a lot more to talk about. I haven't even told y'all about the GoFundMe. I ain't even talked about the biological mother who lost custody of the boys. We haven't even got there yet. This is the biological mother.
The medical examiner's autopsy report says the boy's skull was severely fractured, consistent with multiple blunt force blows to the head.
Keep him away from my kids. And 23 days later, he beat my child to death.
Nikita Martina is the mother of 12-year-old Andre Smith, beaten to death with a sledgehammer Sunday morning in Milwaukee. According to a criminal complaint, the boy's grandfather, Andres Martina, seen here, beat the boy for an hour to an hour and a half inside a home at 46th and Hampton.
And I want y'all to remember why they're talking about an hour and a half, according to the great-grandmother of the boy. The man admitted that he beat the child from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m., which is actually 5 hours, not an hour and a half. Just want y'all to know that.
After accusing the boy of stealing money.
Andre just called me Friday at 12 on the dot. Mom, happy birthday. I love you so much. I can't wait to come home Christmas. And the next day he get beat to death.
And look, I want y'all to notice something. This bitch is stupid. I'm sorry. I gotta say it. This mother is not the... If this mother were a box of crayons, what color do y'all think she'd be? I'd say she might be a navy blue. Maybe like a deep dark gray. Because she's not the brightest crayon in the box. This woman got on these nails. She got her nails done. Did y'all take note of that? She got all these rings on. Did y'all take notice of that? Bling, 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 blow. And she got the latest iPhone. But guess what she doesn't have? Custody of her son. Oh, hot damn. Woo! She got all these tears and don't have custody of her son. The question is why? Why don't she have her kid? Why don't she have custody? Uh-huh.
Wait to come home Christmas. And the next day he get beat to death.
According to the complaint, Andre's 8-year-old brother witnessed the attack and told police he saw his grandfather hit Andre in the head with a mallet, a sledgehammer, and a coat rack, as well as a cane.
I kept wondering why y'all kept saying sledgehammer in the chat. Wow. He hit him in the head with a mallet, a sledgehammer, and a coat rack for 5 hours? Damn. I wonder what kind of crack that fool was smoking. Lord Jesus. Can I bring up something? I don't know why I thought about this. I was trying to think about what type of beating and suffering this was. I want y'all to think about this. You know how we always try to make it seem like that the things that happened in the racism days were so bad. Jim Crow was so bad. Racism was so bad. The 20s, 30s, 40s, the 1900s. You know, we were treated so bad as black people. And the world understands that we were as a whole. So you would think that things that happened to black people back then, not only with the people that perpetrated those crimes back then, because they were crimes, those things were crimes. You wouldn't think that not only those people or the people that shared the skin color would do that to us ever again. And as a large majority, they have not. So thank you, white people. But you wouldn't also think that if those things were so bad, and I think about, stories like Emmett Till. Do y'all remember Emmett Till? Does anybody know the Emmett Till story? Does anybody know what happened to Emmett Till? Does anybody know how badly Emmett Till got beat? Does anybody know for how many hours Emmett Till got beat? Do y'all remember that horrifying photo that they took of that boy's open casket? Y'all remember that? We say that was bad, right? We say that the people that did that should be in hell with Satan, right? Horrible, horrible thing. And you would have to ask yourself, if we recognize that as so bad, so tragic, why is it that we in the black community do this type of thing to each other every single day? I have stories like this that I can post every single day. Do y'all know that my email gets so full that once we get so full to a point, I have to just move on a couple months forward and just stay on the last month or two, and I have to just omit talking about the other stories because I can't do this thing full time. I don't have that type of time to even talk about all of these murders. Y'all know how many stories I had to skip just to talk about these couple? Let's talk about some real talk right now. What's the difference between Emmett Till and gangbangers? I remember this one video, and I'm telling y'all, I'm still horrified, and I have nightmares sometimes thinking about this video. Sometimes I wish I never saw it. But I saw a video of these young men, I'm going to say teenagers, older teenagers, a group of 5 of these boys or young men were chasing down another black man, probably about their age, and they were just catching up to him, and the surveillance footage caught it from like a convenience store. When they finally got close enough to him, they shot him in the back. He went down, immediately hit the ground, and 5 other men walked up to him between handguns, shotguns, AK-47s, and shot this dude probably a good another 30 or 40 times. 4 of them ran off, and one of them that had the shotgun shot him in the face once. His gun jammed. He got it unjammed, and then shot him in the face with the shotgun again. If I were able to show that video on YouTube, I would do it, but clearly I can't. And guess what? Listen at the rap music. That's common. That's not even uncommon. When I just talked about a week ago that 30 human beings, and I was being funny when I said human beings, when I titled it in my title, when I said 30 human beings, because clearly we don't see these people as human. 30 human beings were shot, and 2 children, one of them was murdered. 2 got shot. Just another holiday weekend. And we do this type of thing to ourselves each and every day. Could y'all imagine if you were the coroner, you were doing the observation of this 12-year-old's body. He's dead. He's been brought to you. What do y'all think his head, his face, and his body looked like after he'd been hit in the head with a mallet, a sledgehammer, and a coat rack for 5 hours? Y'all understand what I'm saying? What do y'all think his face looked like after he'd been beat like that for 5 hours? I had to throw that in there. Let's keep going. God damn it.
The complaint goes on to say he told police he, quote, lost it. 12 News has learned Andres Martina pled guilty to second-degree reckless homicide in 1989 and had just moved back to Milwaukee in May, asking to see his grandchildren. Andre's grandmother, Alicia McCroy, currently has custody of
second-degree homicide in 1989. Was that a warning sign?
That was like an accidental shooting. I had no idea about that.
What? I want y'all to hear Grandma's excuse. Listen to this again. He's asking her, why did you give these kids up to this man if you know that he had already been done time for murder? Listen to her answer. Listen to this again.
Of second-degree homicide in 1980.
And they were very specific. They let her know the time, the year, the charge, everything.
In May, asking to see his grandchildren. Andre's grandmother, Alicia McCroy, currently has custody of the boys.
He was convicted of second-degree homicide in 1989. Was that a warning sign?
That was like an accidental shooting, something I had no idea about.
And I want y'all, I'm gonna replay this one more time. I want y'all to hear her answer.
May, asking to see his grandchildren. Andre's grandmother, Alicia McCroy, currently has custody of the boys.
He was convicted of second-degree homicide in 1989. Was that a warning sign?
That was like an accidental shooting, something I had no idea about that.
So if you had no idea about that, then how did you know it was an accidental shooting? Damn. Y'all remember that movie True Lies? For some reason that theme pops in my head. True Lies, the movie. Good movie too. You say you don't know, but then you specifically said that it was an accident. You don't know, but it was an accident. I do know it was an accident, but yeah, I don't know. Have y'all ever heard people talk like that? Do y'all ever call people out when they talk like that? I do, because it's weird when I hear people double talk like that. Let me let y'all hear it again. And just on the surface, if y'all heard this, would you have caught it? Because I caught it the moment she started talking.
Of second-degree homicide in 1989. Was that a warning sign?
Keep in mind, he also has 5 felonies on his record that everybody, including myself, was able to find.
That was like an accidental shooting, something I had no idea about that. All I know is that I wouldn't think he would harm his grandkids like that.
Andre's mother says she's been fighting to regain custody of her children and says she had voiced concerns about their safety to state social workers.
Had you complained to Child Protective Services about this?
I've been calling CPS since last year.
The grandfather is the only person charged in Andre's death. Police say they also found illegal drugs and a handgun inside the house.
So every adult in that house should have been charged, including grandma, for giving the kids up.
A Milwaukee man has been charged in the gruesome beating death of his 12-year-old.
Good evening. A vigil is about to take place for a 12-year-old boy who was beaten to death with a hammer.
Stephanie Haynes joining us live now at 71st and Hope as families gather to remember the life lost too soon.
Tom and Shannon, Andre Smith turned 12 years old last month, and we just spoke to his grandmother a few moments ago. She says she just got a call from authorities that a suspect in this case has been taken into custody. Meantime, I'll give you a look. People are starting to gather for this vigil here at 71st and Hope to honor Andre's life and legacy. It starts right now at 6. Yesterday, Milwaukee police officers were called to a home near 46th and Glendale. They say Andre was sent to the hospital with blunt force trauma injuries, and he later died. His
balloons.
Prosecutors say a Milwaukee boy beaten to death with a sledgehammer by his own grandfather.
Today, prosecutors charged the 53-year-old suspect in connection to the grisly death of Andre Smith. Fox 6's Aaron Maben live at the Milwaukee County Courthouse with the horrific details revealed just hours ago. Aaron.
Ben and Mary, prosecutors say Andre Smith was struck repeatedly with a sledgehammer, cane, and other items. Today, his grandfather was charged in connection to his death, and we want to warn you, details in this case are extremely disturbing.
His cries wasn't heard, and now he gone. He gone. Baby gone.
Heartbreak from Nikita Martina, the mother of 12-year-old Andre Smith II, who died Sunday after prosecutors say he was violently beaten by his grandfather at a Milwaukee home.
Andre was sweet as pie. He was so kind.
Tuesday, 53-year-old Andres Martina was charged in the killing of his grandson. Prosecutors say the beating began after Martina accused the boy of stealing his money. Court documents say Smith and his younger brother were at a sleepover at their grandfather's house when the accusations over the stolen money began. Smith's younger brother told authorities they were struck with a mallet, sledgehammer, a coat rack, and a cane. The medical examiner's office said Smith suffered a severe skull fracture, consistent with multiple blunt force blows to the head. The middle school student died at Children's Wisconsin.
He ain't had to kill my baby.
Prosecutors say Martina told police he didn't remember using a sledgehammer and admitted to losing control. Meanwhile, Nikita Martina is mourning the loss of her son, allegedly at the hands of her father.
It's not right. I ain't slept or ate since they called me Sunday morning and said my child was dead.
This girl getting ready for that GoFundMe money. This is her GoFundMe performance. She getting ready, boy. We getting ready to put up $100,000 GoFundMe, y'all. Y'all get ready. We getting ready to go on all kind of trips, and I can buy all kind of Gucci, Fendi, Prada. I can finally go into the Louis store. Girl, I can go get this weave, this expensive weave. I don't have to get the discount weave no more. I don't have to go down there to New Orleans no more and go bust in the stores while they flooding out there stealing all them weaves, girl.
Died at Children's Wisconsin.
He ain't had to kill my baby.
Prosecutors say Martina told police he didn't remember using a sledgehammer and admitted to losing control. Meanwhile, Nikita Martina is mourning the...
What the hell is all that? What is that? What is that? Who was the dude? Damn, woman. Damn. She ain't got custody of her kid because she worried about that man over there on her left side. You dig? You dig? Uh-huh. That's why she ain't got custody. She too worried about that dude who ain't got no damn job over there standing next to her, holding on to her while she... You get ready. You just play along. We gonna get this GoFundMe money.
And admitted to losing control. Meanwhile, Nikita Martina is mourning the loss of her son, allegedly at the hands of her father.
It's not right. I ain't slept or ate since they called me Sunday morning and said my child was dead. No mother want to get that phone call. He was only 12.
What y'all want to bet that that's not the biological father of that boy? I can guarantee you it's not. Let me give y'all my closing thoughts because we still got more to talk about. First and foremost, how did we get here? The fault is not CPS. The fault ain't great grandma. The fault ain't grandma. The fault ain't grandpa. Because grandpa should have never got an opportunity to get his hands on these kids. He already told you in advance what he was going to do, and y'all still put him around these kids. And he did exactly what he said he was going to do. He said, if you lie, if you do bad in school, if you steal money, his words, not mine, his words said, I'm going to kill you. Talking to the grandkids. That's what he said. The problem starts when the mother lost custody, because you'd have to ask, number one, why did she not have this child or these children inside of a marriage? Why did she not demand that of a man to say, if I'm going to bear your seed, if I'm going to create a legacy for you, then why would I not get married to you and we raise this child under one roof? We're willing to have a kid, but we ain't willing to have a marriage. Isn't that something? So y'all decide to have a kid so you could collect benefits off of this kid, apparently. And then it got so bad to the point where the mom lost custody legally, and custody was taken away. The state took custody, so mom has no kid now. They turn around and say, you know what? We're going to try to put this kid in at least a similar DNA environment and give this kid to the grandmother. And maybe Grandma Dusty Draws can at least can act like she has some sense and raise these kids. And for the most part, she did, up until it comes to Grandma Dusty Draws, to her level of comprehension. She's involved with this 53-year-old alleged grandfather, and he said he wanted to get to know the grandkids. So let me ask you this. If you have a grandfather who was a registered sex offender, and even though he did it a long time ago, he violated some young child, would you turn around and say, you know what? I shouldn't hold that against him. I'm going to let him get to know his grandkids. How many of y'all will let y'all kids be around a man who is a registered sex offender? How many of you guys would allow your kids or your grandkids to be around a murderer? He said, I'm going to murder the kids. She said, I still think you need to get a chance to know them. And what did he do? The moment he got an opportunity, he tried to murder both of them, but he only got a chance to murder one of them. And it took him 5 hours to do it. I don't have anything else to say about this story. That's a stupid man. Stupid is as stupid thugs. And when you date thugs, you date death. He needs to get the electric chair, and then they need to turn around and revive him, and then they need to give him the needle, and then they need to revive him, and then they need to give him the electric chair after that. Then they need to revive him, and then they need to take him and stick him on the top of the Eiffel Tower and kick him off of it and let him fly with the birds. That way he could have a rush express pass straight to hell, because hell is not full of baby murderers just yet. He's got a special seat sitting down there next to Satan himself. Grandma needs to spend the rest of her life in prison for perpetrating this. She said, I didn't know what he was convicted of the murder about, but I knew it was an accident. So if you knew it was an accident, then that also means that you knew that it happened. So if you knew that it happened, then you knew he already had felonies on his record. If you knew he had felonies on his record, then that means you put these children in danger knowing that this man was an unstable creature. And if you did that, then that means you did it with purpose, and you did it with malice, and you did it with intent, and you were neglectful, which means you need to do the rest of your life in prison. Because I think she's only going to live maybe about 20 more years, I guess. Maybe 15. Give her like 15 years in prison. Then we can call it good. Great-grandma is useless. She's useless. Couldn't pick up the phone and call 911 in 5 freaking hours. She said an hour and a half. Nope. It was 5 hours. From 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. She just sat her old decrepit butt in that bed. Talking about God gonna make a way. Jesus, you gonna come down here and fix this. When are we gonna start to put the responsibility on the people who are causing this? We are our own worst enemy, and this will not stop until we stop the people and stop giving them opportunities to take advantage of our children. These children depend on us for everything that they get. They depend on us for protection. They depend on us to make the best decisions for them, which is why we're supposed to be the adults who have custody of them, because we should know how to make proper judgment calls. This was not a good judgment call. It was the worst judgment call. It was the stupidest judgment call. It was the worst call you could make. As far as the mother, I don't feel sorry for her, and nor should y'all, but apparently we have a few individuals out there who did feel sorry for the mom, because I needed to put this up here. They had nerve enough to open up a GoFundMe. I think Alicia McCroy, in her name right there, that's the grandmother. She opened it up, and I think she's opening it up in, I thought she was opening this up for, let me see. He was only 12 years old, donated anything you can for a funeral. So the boy didn't have life insurance. $10,000. And you had 98 donors who donated $3,400. and they're going to allegedly put this money into the ground. They didn't put $10,000 into this boy's life, but they're going to put $10,000 into this boy's death. And if you ask me, that does not add up. Rest in peace to that baby boy. R.I.P. to that man right there. May your soul never rest in hell. I'm DJ Just Jay. Thank you for listening with an open mind and an open heart.